In this presentation, we're going to look at how to show private and social costs and benefits on a graph. Let's start with marginal private benefit. We are looking at the point of view of the consumer. We know that when a consumer consumes more of a product, the extra pleasure that they get from each extra unit that they consume falls. This is what we mean by diminishing utility, diminishing marginal utility. So, the curve of marginal private benefit slopes downwards because of the theory of diminishing marginal utility. Now let's look at marginal private costs. Here we're looking at it from the point of view of the producer. When a producer produces more of a product, the cost of production rises per unit as each extra unit is produced. This is because of the theory of diminishing returns. And so the marginal private cost of the producer slopes upwards. In a market, we have both the producer and the consumer interacting together. The market equilibrium is reached where the marginal private cost equals the marginal private benefit. This is how markets work, and they rely on private costs being equated to private benefits. The thing to appreciate is that the market is a private institution, where only private costs and private benefits are recognized. So, here we can now see the origin of the market failure. We know that some goods have negative externalities, and what this means is that the marginal social cost is always higher than the marginal private cost. We can see that the market will reach an equilibrium here, where the marginal cost, the marginal private cost, is equal to the marginal private benefit. But because there are social costs, and therefore negative externalities which the market does not recognize, the socially optimal equilibrium is here. So we should be producing at Q1 rather than at Q0, which is where the market chooses to produce. This is the market failure, when there is a negative externality. And we remember that the negative externality is the distance between the marginal private cost and the marginal social cost. The market overproduces. It produces at Q0 when in fact it would be better for society if it produced at Q1. On the other hand, we can also examine marginal private benefits, which are actually less than marginal social benefits. So imagine there is a positive externality. This would mean that the benefit to society, the marginal social benefit, is higher than the marginal private benefit, and the difference is the positive externality. The market does not recognize these positive externalities and so reaches an equilibrium at Q0, whereas in fact it would be better for society if the market were producing a little bit more at Q1. So in this situation, where there is a positive externality, the market, which only looks at private costs and private benefits, underproduces. It produces at Q0, whereas in fact it would be better for society if the market produced at Q1. So in both cases, where there is either a positive externality or, in this case, a negative externality, we have a market failure. In this case, the market overproduces, whereas in the case of the positive externality, the market underproduces.